All right. So, how you guys doing? It's Art Banaka. Um, yeah, I have been MIA for a couple of days and stuff. I've been pretty much busy, and it's actually harder for me now to just quickly post a video and then keep on moving because with YouTube's new policy, you have to have like 1,000 subscribers in order for you to live stream through your phone. So now I have to make sure I'm done with the end of the day with my task, um and then live stream pretty much. But I wanted to talk about Julian Assange. A couple of days ago, I was talking to my girl, and she was expressing to me like her sadness about just, you know what? Let me just play this real quick. So, all right, I'm not sure how much are you guys familiar with Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, and he pretty much broke a lot of stories that happened to be very embarrassing to the powers that be, and some of the key figures such as Hillary Clinton and Obama, and you name it. And he has been an enemy of the states for quite some times now, ever since the big debut with the Iraq War, where he actually exposed the torturing and the killing of civilians and so on and so forth. So he has been marked for a while now. And the thing about Julian Assange, he came out of an era where there was this big push. It was the dawn of the information age, the dawn of where people, myself included, we used to just like dig the internet and actually just like it was a journey through the rabbit hole. It was a journey through being exposed to what our reality truly made of, whether it's how money works with our with currency, or whether it's actually learning about certain powerful families, whether it's learning about things such as the false flags or fake news, or whatever the case may be. It's like this journey. He was uh he was a pioneer, and he was very like when my girl called me when I was talking to Sirius, and then she was sad. She was sad. I understood her sadness, but I didn't feel it. The reason, like, I understood what she mean, because like the way you actually see Julian Assange being dragged out of the embassy and being placed in this police van like some sort of bloody madman, and then he was like, it's very embarrassing, and to the point where I was like, it kind of represent like the end of what he represent, the end of the awakening. You know, it's like everything that he has done was in vain, only at the end to be tossed up like a piece of trash, like some garbage in in a police van and only to be taken away, and God knows what the hell's gonna happen to him. And his arrest symbolized something deeper. It symbolized, like, whether or not you expose the truth, it doesn't matter. Nobody give a fuck. Nobody cares. That's what he represent. That's the symbol of what you just seen right now. Is that, like, sooner or later people don't care. But I want to go through deeper evaluation. I want to take a layer further down. You got to ask yourself, why do people go all these lengths out of their ways to actually try to expose the truth, to try to bring clarity into something dark, something pervasive? I mean, was he doing it because he cared that deeply about humanity? Was it like some sort of virtue, something that was wrong he tried to set right? Was it like, or was it has to do with his own self gratification, his own ego? Did his own ego play the role in this? To be, yes, I'm gonna be the first one to break a story. I'm gonna be the first one to expose certain dangerous individual. Is like to stick it up to the man, and then, or maybe he really thought that he was actually doing a service to the population. I can tell you why a lot of the public hated him. The reason why a lot of these so-called Americans did not like Julian Assange is because he denied them of the ignorance, of plain ignorance of, I didn't know my country was doing that. He denied them of that. He took away that denial. He took away that part where it was blatant in your face, where you have the chopper mowing down civilians in Iraq. He took that denial away from them, where everybody was screaming, saying that how unfair the war was, how unfair, the invasion of Iraq was, or all these other countries that was being mishandled. And then people turn the blind eyes, right? And forcefully turn the blind eye. And he actually, Julian Assange, put that mirror in their face to see that you are a fucking monster by actually, you know, co-signing with this. And I understand why people don't wanna deal with it. I understand why people don't want to think about this shit. Because a lot of times some of these problems we feel so small when it comes to corruptions, when it comes to a lot of these problems in the world. And the best way to cope with it is to actually turn a blind eye, you know, and also to actually play denial or to pretend that it doesn't exist. There's a lot of evil in the world. There's a lot of shit in the world, and we pretend it doesn't exist because we do benefit from that evil. And to deny or to actually reject that notion is to actually doom our own selves. To, you know, yeah, we all know, the financial system, how it's created, and or the evil of certain, whether it's capitalism or whether it's socialism. There's good and bad in everything. But the thing is, like, a lot of people, we try to shut our eyes towards the bad. We don't want to see it. We don't want to deal with it. We pretend that it doesn't exist. So then, therefore, we can feel good about the privilege that we get out of the good. You know, I mean, and can I actually blame them? I cannot fault them. Like, can I expect a privileged middle class person to actually care about what's going on somewhere in Africa or somewhere in Haiti or anywhere else in the world because they're not directly being affected by it, you know? And the fact that you have somebody like Julian Assange actually put a mirror in front of these people's faces and then to make them look at what the people that they voted for, look how much of a monster they are. And you look at it, and those folks, these Americans, they have family members that are soldiers. family members that are like, politicians, family members that are, you know, to them, they are good people. And they couldn't just stomach the fact that these good, so-called good individual were capable of actually committing this type of atrocity against innocent people. So then that anger turned into a hatred towards those who actually showed them those those atrocity. That's why Julian Assange was so hated by the powers that be, by the Western population, because they could no longer play denial. But now, what we're seeing right now is appear to be a victory. It seems to be a victory to say like, okay, the person that was, exposing, you know, European secrets, or the Western secrets as a whole, the person that was actually not minding his own business is now caught, and the thing that he thought he was doing for the greater good is all swept under the rug. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck about Julian Assange. No one does. As it appeared. As it appeared, nobody cared. But the thing is, if you let this discourage you from actually living your life in a truthful manner, then his sacrifice was in vain. Because the thing is, this is what I've learned. Personally, this is what I've learned from Julian Assange. This is what I've learned from this whole awakening. Is the fact that I remember when I first started researching these things. I was in England. I was living in England, and my mind was just like I was somewhat lost in the information vortex. You know, we started off with books such as Behold the Pale Horse, and then that book fucked me up for a little while. Because it kind of create that level of nihilistic within your mind to say that, well, everything's crap, so we might as well let it all burn to hell, and then we rise again from the ashes, right? And then then you start listening to people like Alex Jones and so on, like a whole bunch of people. But out of this information, there was like too much anger, so I started to veer away from that, and then I started researching other things. So he went from, at first I couldn't believe it. He went from denial, like, nah, there's no way some of these information are true. And then he went to anger, and then he went to compromise. So the compromising state was, all right, what can we do? So now we started, like, me and my girl, we were just like looking for solution. We just, we studied pretty much everything that we could think of, whether it's the law of the land and the law of the sea. We understood that, and then we um or we study like spirituality. We just kept digging. We kept digging. We kept digging. That was like a shovel. We kept digging all that stuff, try to figure it out. Okay, what else is there? What else is there? And then it became like a trend. Now more and more people were actually discussing things online, whether it's vaccine, whether it's false flag, whether it's like what's going on in Palestine, whether it's you name it though. Like, Facebook was meant for what Facebook was. Twitter was what Twitter was supposed to be. It was like differences of opinion, and we were just like battling shit out, exchanging ideas, agreeing or disagreeing. And there was like, yeah, there were trolls, of course, but there was like people with true attention, as well as people that had the heart and the balls to actually state their ideas and actually unafraid of other people's opinion, not these snowflakes that we actually have right now. No. So all these things started going on, right? And we just continue looking for these solutions, whether it's grow your own food, or permaculture, and and we came to the idea where that trying to change the world while you remain the same will only revert back to the same shit you try to fight, you know? And the thing is, like, you cannot change the world. You can only change yourself. And if you truly believe in what you preach, then you're going to start making moves towards what you actually believe in. What I mean by this, because see, we want to look at Julian Assange as in somebody that was just like, all his effort was in vain, but it was not. Because what he did to people, what he did for people, is that we started looking at it as in we are our own savior. We started to vote with our dollars. We started to put our money where our mouth is. That means that, like, once we get the information, once we get all this information from WikiLeaks, then what do you do about it? Do you continue to eat Monsanto's food? Or do you now start going to the farmer's market? You start to look for more natural food, or you start planting your own. Do you know in the how the school system run? Do you move, find a better school system to put your kids in? Or do you even maybe start to homeschool your kid? Once you actually find out about certain problems in the world, then you either do something about it, or you just, you know, become a hypocrite. And that's what starts to happening. That's what started happening, where people now started to invest their money and their time into creating a better world. So they were no longer like, yes, Occupy Wall Street was great. Um, but once we realized that we were duped with a lot of infiltration as far as the social justice warriors that we know of today, you know, they're intolerable sort of people that actually preach tolerance, which is odd. But what we start to have now, the shift started occurring to where people were actually doing something about it, the information that they were gathering. You know, whether it's growing your own food, homeschooling your kid, start to live frugally. Stop buying certain products that you know that is not good for you nor your family. And then you actually start to live your life a certain way. It actually started with these movements started to spring out a whole new industries. So then the people that you see online right now, the people that just, bickering, arguing, screaming in your face, doing all these weren't the ones that actually took the message to heart. These weren't the ones that actually used the information they have gathered and actually apply wisdom to those information. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing, wisdom is doing. And these people that actually get those information, that understand the corruption within the system, now started to live their life to a point where their own existence is a form of rebellion. So you don't like corrupt politician, you yourself try to live your life in a way that you're not corrupt. You yourself try to live your life in a way to which you find one problem in the world, one problem to which you provide a solution to. That's what Julian Assange meant for me. And if he ever meant anything to you as well, I suggest that you start living your life the right way. It's not about like exposing this government or that government or this industry or that industry. We all know it's corrupt. We are all corrupt. We all have that corruption within us. The question is, are you trying to get better yourself? Because at the end of the day, no matter how many truth you exposed, if you're not living by it, then it doesn't matter. Because you cannot force others to do the right thing. You have to try to do the right thing yourself. You have to try and live your way in a way that is an example for others to aspire to. You know, there you can still invest your money. The fiat currency is not going anywhere. And when one system collapses, another takes its place. Now the question is, are you gonna be that cog in the web, that cog in the machine that actually provide a better solution for this wheel to keep going forward? Yes, I know it's easy to let all that shit burn down to the ground and actually, so we can fight over the ashes. Who does that help? What kind of world would we actually wish our kids to live in? We have all these socialist people that just want to see the fall of capitalism, the fall of the West, the fall of all these countries that which you benefit from. What's the point of that? Like, I understand all these ideologies. I understand a lot of these theories. But in reality, when you have chaos, the person that rules is the person with a bigger gun. Trust me, I came from Haiti. You don't want that shit. You don't want that shit here in America. You don't want that shit here in the West. So the only way we could actually get out of this corrupt system is by actually participating in a way to which we provide solution to the problems that we face. Not complaining, not waving picket sign, talking about like we want more money, we want occupy, we want raising of minimum wage, raising of this, raising of that. No, you got a problem, you provide solution. There's not gonna be no more retirement. By the time you're ready to retire, create your own retirement. Invest your money wisely. Stop being a spoiled little brat and actually live the right way. It's hard. That's the hardest thing to do. It's easier to tell other people to actually change. It's easier to tell other people to do the right thing. It's easier to tell politicians to stop being corrupt. It's easier to expose their fuck ups. But you know what? We have all been bought. All of us. All of us. Whether it's you collecting free money or whether it's corporate welfare, same thing. Whether you polluting the air or you just buying product from a company that you know that are actually um exploiting others in third world countries, same thing. So I understand it's hard to actually get rid of corruption. It's very hard to get rid of corruption. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to take the information that you've been exposed to and live your life in a way that you make the world a little bit better. A little bit better. Start with your family. First, you start with yourself. Then you start with your family. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of this so-called revolutionary mind, they are very nasty to their own people. Their own family members can't stand them. Start with that. Start with your family, which is one of the reasons why I gravitate towards Jordan Peterson, where it says, make your bed. So once you get your circle straight, once you get that, then you could ripple out. Then you start to find like-minded people and you that has similar interests to you. And then you move forward. Then you find something. You find a problem, which you create a solution. That's how it is. It's little at a time. It's every individual finds a cause that they're passionate about, and then to provide that solution. Changing the system, changing the corruption within the system, it's not about shouting out or having all this pick a sign and actually, try to force people to do what you want. That's not how you bring change. Once you do that, then that's how you have opposition, a lot more opposition. Learn how to ride the waves. I used to be a leftist until I see a whole bunch of people that didn't care about what the other side had to say. They only care about being heard, and they only care about shutting other people down. I'm not a leftist nor a rightist. I'm neither. I know the pendulum always swing both ways. And a lot of time what you have is people that join these groups is they try to find a place where they feel like they matter without actually putting in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. So, Julian Assange, I will always remember you, man. And wherever your journey takes you next, I hope that you actually get to face your own demon and conquer them. Because they're going to put you through hell, my dude. They will. But I'm letting you know that your influence on me had made me a better person. So, farewell. Good luck to you. And I wish you or people like you understood that your sacrifice has not been in vain. And I don't know you personally. I don't know whether you deep down you're a good person or not. And I don't know exactly why you did what you did. But you expose certain information. You actually deny people certain ignorance. And for that, you paid a heavy price. So this is Arbanaka. All right. I'm out of here. Peace.